Boop, boop, boop.
It turns out that teaching people to believe they're exceptional and to feel good about themselves no matter what doesn't lead to a population full of Bill Gateses and Martin Luther Kings. It leads to a population full of Jimmys. Jimmy, the delusional startup founder. Jimmy, who smoked pot every day and had no real marketable skills other than talking himself up and believing it. Jimmy, the type of guy. All right, what's up, everybody? Just got through listening to The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Pretty good book. Listening to the audio version for the first time, a little bit better than reading it. You get a little more emphasis on a lot of stuff within the book, which is pretty dope. Um, After listening to Outwitting the Devil audio version, it's kind of hard listening to other audio books because they just really don't keep that same standard like you get from that one. So this is another one that I found that's pretty good. So if any of you guys feel like checking out a good audio book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, it's pretty good. I'm about halfway through it. I've read the hard copy already. I enjoyed the hard copy, so listening to the audio version gives you kind of a little bit of a different perspective on it. So yeah, check that one out if you guys are looking for a new book to read, or if you haven't, if you've already read it, check out the audio version. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so lately we've been talking a lot about different first-time homebuyer programs. The last class that we did, we were on California. It's going to be a two-part. So we did the part one last class. I said we were going to do it this class, but I decided to open up um, the platform for a Q&A because we haven't done that just yet. I know we do them at the end, but I just kind of want to dedicate this class to, all the Q&As that you guys have. If any of you guys are in deals, or, maybe it might not be about real estate, but we'll try to focus mainly on real estate. That's, why most people are in here. But if you guys do have other questions on other things, we can tap into that as well. I'll give you guys a little bit of update on that property that I had got from the auction. So right now I'm kind of at a standstill. I don't know what route I want to go with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it listed. It needs a lot of work. My property manager that I hired out there, and all I did to find this property manager out there, I have some real estate agents that are already in Illinois. I reached out to some of them. They gave me a few names. I did a quick Google search, real property managers in the area that I got the property in. And I just kind of did my due diligence, just like I preach to you guys all the time, right? I had my questions lined up. I knew exactly what I wanted. I was seeing who offered what and who could do what for me. So I found a company that would do everything that I like. They have contractors under their belt. They have a lot of good things under their belt that I could use. So I had them go out to the property because it's in a different state that I live in. Mind you, they didn't charge me for this because most property managers aren't going to charge you until they're actually managing your property. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to get a look at it as well. So I had them go do a walkthrough and it was completely trashed. There's holes in the roof. It's a 2-story building. There's holes in the floor that go from the first floor to the second floor. There's the people that were living there before looked like they were being squatters. So they completely trashed the place. They left a bunch of clothes and, the toilets are all nasty. The bathroom needs to be completely replaced. The floors need to be redone. The landscaping is horrible because no one's lived there for like a year and a half. 2 years. Well, they probably were living there, but they probably just weren't keeping up any of the upkeep, any of the maintenance and things like that. So the good thing is that all the taxes are good. There's no utilities that I owe. So I was able to get the property for about about 34,000 less than the value of the home. It's looking like it's going to need anywhere from 30 to 50K in work and rehab, depending on, if I want to go find some contractors myself, if I just want to let them find the contractors. So now I'm just, I got the property, it's mine. Taxes are only like $350 a year, something like that in this certain area in Illinois. So taxes, I'm not worried about. I don't have to rush to get it rehab. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to a bunch of real estate agents in the area that deal with people who flip and wholesale, and I'll just get it listed. So I'll try to sell it. I'll try to get, if I can get anywhere for 5 to 10K extra in it, I will. It looks like the equity keeps rising based on what the rents are. It's looking like the ARV for it would be about 20,000 higher than what I anticipated, just based off of the rents and some of the comps that I ran in the area. So I have a little bit of wiggle room. I have a few different outs on what I want to go, but I'm in no rush. Like I said, I own the property. Taxes are only going to be a few hundred a year. So if I want to just slow roll this thing, and if I want to fly out and hire, I always joke about hiring crackheads and things like that, but I actually do that sometimes because they actually do a good job, and you don't really have to pay them the crazy amounts that you would have to pay for certain contractors. So certain things, if you can find little people here, I always tell people drive by Home Depot and Lowe's, because there'll be people out there looking for work. They'll charge you reasonable, right? I don't undercut people. I pay them reasonable. But when you deal with contractors, you might have to come out of pocket a little bit more and all these things. So when you kind of hire people on the side, I like to just get simple things like, basic cleaning of the property just to get all the trash out. I'm not going to hire a crackhead or someone at like Home Depot or Lowe's to do like the roofing work or electrical, like plumbing, all the big stuff. I'll hire someone that's certified to do it. And then all the little things like cutting the grass, maybe, if you need some paint done, if you need some things tore down, you could just kind of hire someone on the side because you'll be able to get them for cheaper than what you would do for a contractor. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know exactly what route I want to go with it, but in due time, we'll figure it out. So that's kind of where I'm at with that property right now. Yeah, we're just kind of slow rolling it and just kind of go from there. So like I said, we'll do this Q&A. Whatever questions you guys have, like I said, just feel free. This is a safe environment. There is no such thing as a dumb question. If you guys want to talk real estate, that's what the class is for. But if you guys do have other questions on other things, please feel free to ask. So we'll go ahead and open the floor up right now to any questions, or if you guys are in a certain situation, you're just looking for some guidance or anything like that, just start firing away at will.
Hi, I have a question.
Hey.
I have a question. So I'm looking at properties. I just came back to America from London. I'm looking at properties in New Mexico because that's where I'm stationed. I'm looking for a very unique type property, kind of like a multifamily, duplex, quadplex, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's just because of my VA loan. So I was told that a lot of these properties are kind of like in the not so good areas. I don't know if you have any experience with multi-units or
Yeah, I do. What is your question though?
so my question is when it comes to like finding like the right property, because I know on MLS they're like always going very quick. So I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you have any other places that you look, or what do you look for when you look at these multi-unit properties, knowing that they're in these areas, things like that.
For
If that
me,
makes
I'm not really too concerned in the area. So this property that I just got, my property managers told me it's not necessarily a desired area. And so that's just going to have to be on you based on the type of investor you are. I have some friends who like to just invest in Section 8 areas, right? And, nothing against people that are on Section 8, but most places that are in Section 8 heavy areas get kind of ran down. Not saying that it always happens, but that's just kind of what comes with it. So, you have to figure out, you have to drive around the area. You have to see for yourself, look and see what the crime rates are, drive around, see how the schools are, what type of shopping centers do they have? Is there any type of room for growth? Do you see anything happening in the area that looks like, they're going to try to either gentrify the area or at least start to make it look nice and look better. So for you as an investor, the first thing I would do is kind of look at the area, see if it's somewhere that it's that you would feel like it would be worth you putting your money in. Then you also want to run your numbers, right? Because at the end of the day, real estate is a numbers game.
Mhm.
So you need to figure out, who's going to be paying the utilities. Is it going to be you? Are you going to put it on your tenants? Is there a front and backyard? So who's going to handle the landscaping? If your landscaping has sprinklers, you got to have maintenance for the sprinklers. And then, look and see, call around to lenders and figure out if you use your VA loan for this property, it's this amount. What's your P&I, your principal interest, what your monthly payments are going to be. You can start calling around to insurance companies to get an estimate of what your monthly homeowner's insurance is going to be. You can you can figure out what your taxes are going to be already. So you can start doing all these things and get your numbers and run your numbers. And if it makes sense, then go for it. If it doesn't make sense, then stay away from it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
In terms of the first-time buyer programs, I actually had called a lender in Florida because I've been looking at some properties out there, and she had told me that for the program, since most of the loans are forgiven and whatnot, that they need you to have a job or like be able to prove that you have some type of work out there before you actually move out there.
Right.
So in my case, I wasn't planning on doing that because like my grandma's helping me fund, so she was going to be able to like pay for the mortgage while I figure it out.
Right.
So I was wondering if I should just stick with the regular FHA loan and not try to do the first time home buyers program as well, since there's a couple of different loopholes, you have to kind of jump through them.
Yeah. Is your job remote by any chance?
No, it's not, and I'm on contract based because of COVID.
Yeah, I was gonna say if your job was remote, there might be a workaround for that for you. But yeah, if you can't qualify for the program, then FHA would be a next route, or conventional, depending on what your finances and stuff look like. But FHA 3.5% down. With the FHA, you're gonna have the PMI, which is your mortgage insurance that you're gonna have. I don't know. Were you in the last class when I was talking about how to get that removed?
I believe so. Did you say you could kind of just pay it all type thing, like in a lump sum, and then it's not there?
No. So for the PMI, that's going to be something that you have to pay monthly, and it goes towards the FHA for them allowing you to get the home. But there's a few ways that you can get the PMI removed. Um, like for instance, once your mortgage balance reaches 78% of the original purchase price, and like you haven't missed any payments and everything is good like that, then you could the provider should automatically remove the PMI for you. And if they don't, then you can just contact them. Another way is like if you get a 30-year loan, when you reach that halfway point, You could also get it removed. That's another way. Even if your mortgage hasn't reached that 78%. Another way for you to get it is once your balance reaches 80% of the home's original value, and you made all your payments and things like that on time, you can request whoever you got your loan from, you can request then to get it taken off. If you got some equity in your home and you go to refinance and your new mortgage balance is below 80% of the home value, that's another way for you to get the PMI removed. There's one more way. If you own the home for it's like 5 years and the balance is no more than 8% of the new evaluation of your home. So you would have to get a new appraisal if you think that the value of your home has increased. So once you get a new appraisal, and if you've owned the home for 5 years and the loan balance is no more than 8% of the new valuation, you can ask to get it canceled. Or if you own the home for 2 years and your remaining mortgage balance is no greater than 75%. So that comes from getting the new appraisal. So you got some options. That's about, I don't know, what was that, like 6 different ways for you to get PMI removed. So just keep that in mind if you do go the FHA route, because you don't want to be paying that PMI. It doesn't go towards anything. It's just it goes to the FHA for them giving you 96.5% of the down payment, pretty much.
Yeah. So would you say if I could put down more, would you suggest going the regular conventional route just so you don't end up paying the?
If you can put the 20% down, it's going to end up saving you. Your payments are going to be lower. You're not going to have to worry about PMI, and PMI it's going to be anywhere from that one, like on a low end, probably like 110 to anywhere as high as maybe 280, just depending on the purchase price of the home and things like that. But they'll tell you exactly what it is. Once you find a lender that you want to go with, they'll be able to tell you exactly what your PMI is going to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just had to mute. Someone was talking in the background, but you guys can keep firing.
A quick question. Can you clarify? That was just for conventional, correct? Like as far as the 78%, once it gets down below 78% or having that 20% down, that's strictly for conventional.
No, that's for FHA. Conventional, you don't have PMI with a conventional loan.
Yeah, you do though. You got PMI. Like I thought to like, because the reason I'm asking, because I definitely need all y'all help on this home ownership. But I'm a mortgage banker. I've been working mortgage banker, still learning some stuff. But I thought that like FHA, you put down 3.5% and you'll have MIP, that mortgage insurance for the lifetime of the loan, or unless you put down like 10% down. But then conventional is you'll have PMI, private mortgage insurance from Freddie or Fannie Mae up until about 80%. You can request it off, or automatically it comes off at 78%. I didn't know that there was a way to get the FHA. I thought that the only way to get FHA off was if you put down, I think, more than 10% down. So your mortgage isn't like over 90%, and then like after 11 or 12 years, you can get it off.
No. So for what we were just talking about was for the FHA, not for the conventional. For conventional, when you put 20% down, you're not going to have to worry about that. That's for FHA only.
So you're saying, so basically on FHA, if I do put down 20%, I will not have to worry about mortgage insurance?
No, you'll get your own mortgage insurance, but I'm talking about what you pay back to FHA.
Okay. Cool beans, man. Just get some extra info. I didn't know about that at all.
I kind of had one more question. So when I do call a lender, is there a way for them to kind of like break down the payments if I were to go with the conventional rather versus the FHA, just so I can see the numbers, or are they going to try to like lean towards a conventional loan because that might like be better for them?
You can get the numbers. You can get the numbers for both.
Okay.
You can get the numbers for both. You can get the numbers based on if you're thinking about putting a certain amount of percentage down. You could bring up as many scenarios as you want. You could be like, hey, if I want to put this much down, what will my monthly payments look like? If I want to only put this much down, what will my monthly payments look like? So you can bring up any scenario you want, and they'll break it down exactly for you. And like I said, that's without you signing anything or anything like that.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So when it comes to running numbers, what platform do you use? Or do you just do it by hand?
I do it by hand. Yeah, I run all my numbers by hand. But you could use, like I said, whatever works for you. You just need to know, everything, all your costs that you're going to have, your principal and interest, your mortgage, your PMI, if you have it, taxes, if you pay utilities or not, if you have a maintenance person on site, or if you don't, if you have a property manager, or if you don't, like I said, I believe the second class that we did, I put a whole list of everything that you can expect, what type of payments you can expect to have monthly by owning properties.
Hey, bro, I have a question.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Do you have any experience flipping properties?
No, I don't. All the properties that I get are all turnkey. So
all turnkey.
Yeah, they're all turnkey. So this property that I got recently from the auction, I don't know if I'm going to end up flipping this property or not. So it might be a flip, but I'm not sure yet. But all the properties I have are all turnkey.
For sure. And that property, just out of curiosity, is it around the Chicago area?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half outside Chicago, I believe.
Okay, bet. Yep. Good looks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yo, Ace.
What up?
Quick question. I was looking at properties on Realtor.com, and I was just wondering if you knew what contingent mean. Does contingent mean that it's in the process of being sold, or does that mean it's still available? Or
that means that there's an offer in it right now, and they're probably in the phase of doing inspections and things like that. So it's not necessarily sold yet. So it might come back open again. So right now they just have someone that offer was put in, it was accepted, and they're probably doing walkthroughs and inspections and stuff like that.
okay, cool, appreciate it.
Hey, Ace.
Hey.
Question for you. What's your process to find lenders? Do you typically just do a Google search? Do you, have an agent send you a list, or what's your typical process? Thanks.
Okay, that's a good question. So I have a few different things I like to do. I like to use word of mouth. So real estate agents that I've used either prior or that I currently use, I like to get referrals from them. And most real estate agents that I deal with always will have 3 to 5 lenders that they'll recommend. So I like to get lenders that are, just specific for that state. And then there's also lenders that will lend to anyone nationwide, no matter where you're at. And then once I have my lenders that are nationwide, I'll kind of keep, like my top 3 or top 5. And then anytime I find a deal, I'll bring it to them first to get financing. And then I'll just compare the numbers between the 3. And then if they don't have anything that I like, or I think I can get better, then I'll shop around. So you could do anything from, you could do Google search. You could go to like biggerpockets.com. They have a lot of lenders on there. just reach out to real estate agents, reach out to property managers. They know lenders. If any of your friends or any of your family members have ever got into real estate, you know, you can ask them, hey, who did you use for your lender? Did you guys like the whole process? Did everything seem good? So you have a lot of different routes that you could go when it comes to finding a lender. And which is cool is because you're not limited to just lenders that are in your area, because there are a lot of lenders who will lend either nationwide, or if you're in a specific city and, you know, you're not necessarily in a big city, but there might be a bigger city a couple hours or 3 hours away or 4 hours away, whatever it may be. You're not limited to just lenders that are necessarily in your city.
Okay, thanks for that. And do you have like your top 3 list of nationwide brokers? I'm looking in the New York and New Jersey area, so it may be difficult to just get, you know, a bunch of like local lenders, as I'm still in the beginning of the process, so I don't know necessarily if they can lend in both New York and New Jersey, but just out of curiosity.
Yeah, all you have to do is, like I said, when you do your research on finding lenders, just let them know, hey, I'm looking to get real estate in this state. Will you guys be able to lend to me there? And they'll either say yes or no. And then if they say yes, you say, okay, this is the loan amount I need. What are the numbers, right? What is my monthly payment going to look like? And this and that. And you just tell them, I'm just trying to get numbers right now so I can compare. And it's not going to, you know, you don't have to get your credit ran. You don't have to commit to anybody. And that's where so many people go wrong. They think that they have to commit to the first lender they speak with or talk to. And that's not even necessarily the case. You know, you want to, when it comes to this real estate stuff, every little percentage matters, because we're talking about getting into 200, 300, 400, $500,000 properties. So something as little as 1% or, you know, a tenth of a percent could mean the difference in thousands, $10,000, you know, $20,000 over the lifetime of a loan. So you want to get the best rate that you can get. Because like I said, it doesn't matter if you go with a big name lender or if you go with a no name lender, as long as you're getting the money and that money can get you into that property, you want to get the best rate that you can get.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call a lender,
Mhm.
they don't have to run your credit to see how much you're gonna be given or you can afford?
Oh, that's when you finally say, okay, I want to go with you, then that's when they're going to do all that. So to
So
get
how
numbers,
can you call them and they can give you these numbers if they're not gonna run your credit?
what do
Because
you mean?
I thought you had to run the credit in order for them to know or give you a ballpark as to what you can afford, like depending on your credit score.
You
And
know
then
what
I know.
if
Mhm.
you know what your credit score is, you can tell them, I already know what my credit score is, and they can run it based off of that credit score. But what they'll tell you is that, okay, this is just going to be guesstimate information since we're not running your credit. But once they run your credit, those numbers
Mm.
could change based off of what your credit is.
So
They can-
you have to voice to them that you don't want them to run your credit. You just call in to get some numbers and
no, you don't
compare it.
have to tell. You can just tell them I'm calling to get some numbers. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Problem.
Hey, I got one.
Hey.
How do you feel about buying a home that already has tenants? I know it sounds stupid, it might sound like an easy decision, but I feel like they're trying to get out of something. Or do you think it's a good investment and it's less work on your part?
So those are called turnkey properties, and those are the main ones that I only invest in. So I like finding properties that have tenants already in them, because it's easier for me to run my numbers, right? Obviously, you can run your numbers based on the area and what the rents could be, but if you don't have any tenants in it, you know, now you got to place someone. But if tenants already in there, they're already collecting rent. Some of the tenants been there for 6 months, some of them been there for 5 years. So it's easier for me I can figure out what the rent should be, and then I can see what the rents currently are. So if they're undervalued, because sometimes I found properties where the rents are overvalued. What you have to understand is that if someone is selling a property that has tenants already in it and the cash flow is great, that doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong, because you don't know what that person has going on. It could have been, you know, it could be a husband and a wife who are getting a divorce and they own the property together. They don't want to deal with each other. They want to cash each other out. So they're selling the property. Someone could have died and a family member is taking over. They don't have any idea anything about real estate. They know that family member owned it for 10, 15, 20 years and they got the property back for only 50,000. Now it's worth 400,000. So in their mind, okay, let me just sell this, make all this money, because now the money's coming to me. So just because there's tenants in it and people are selling it and the money is good doesn't mean that there's something wrong. Still got to do your due diligence. You still got to get it inspected. Still got to, do the appraisal, all that stuff. Check out the neighborhood, see what the rents are, see if they can be increased, all that good stuff.
Okay, gotcha. Appreciate you.
No problem. Good question.
I have another question for
Yep.
you. Like I was looking in Florida to purchase a condo. And what I've noticed in the Orlando area recently, like there's been, I guess, reconfigurations with management, like I guess beyond just the norm. And they're doing a lot of upgrades on the condos. So now the maintenance fee has been going up, aside from the booming of everybody from north going down south.
Right.
But now the maintenance fees are going up, and they're stating, I guess, the property is in deficit. So now they're increasing the maintenance fee because they want to upscale the properties, because they know that the north is going down to the south. So they want to make sure that they're rolling in that money.
Right.
So I want to know, do you know how to figure out, or ahead of time before deciding to pick a particular location, to know like if there is any debt or any new investments coming in that you may be liable for, as opposed to it being on them? Do you understand? Like there's projects that they may have like in the near future, but you still don't know, and they're gonna implement that the tenants or the owners pay for these new upgrades.
What is this part of the HOA or what? Because once you own a property, you can have whoever you want to do the maintenance. Unless
But like for the facility itself, like
unless it comes
everything.
with the HOA, and there's nothing you can do about that. If that's a part of the HOA, which a lot of condos or certain townhomes and things like that, or even a lot of homes or duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, based on where it's at in the area, you might have an HOA. And part of that HOA, sometimes maintenance might be in there, sometimes utilities might be in there. So there's nothing that you can do if that's a part of the HOA. There's nothing you can do about that besides don't get a property that has a HOA. So when you own a property, if you own a condo, a townhome, a duplex, triplex, fourplex, and there's no HOA, you're in control of who you want to have do your maintenance. You're in control of everything. It's your property. Even though you take out a loan, the bank technically owns it. It's yours. You get to choose if you want a property manager. You get to choose what type of maintenance gets done. You get to choose who pays for the utilities. You get to choose all these different things. So
what about
if it's
like
part of the
upscale?
HOA, there's nothing you can do.
If it's part of it, okay. So what about like upscaling, like the roofing of the?
It's on you.
That's on you.
Yep. But unless you get a property that has a HOA and they have requirements. So that's why I tell people be aware of HOA, because HOA, sometimes they'll have people go out and inspect and do these things, and they'll want to get this done. And you have to get permission to get certain type of doors, or if you want to paint your house a certain color, you got to get permission. If you want to put something in the yard, you got to get permission. So be cautious of HOAs. Know about them before you get into them. I personally don't buy any properties that have HOAs, because I don't like some places the HOA fees are just too much. So if you have a vacancy, that vacancy on top of the HOA could really hurt your numbers based on what your numbers are. And then I just don't like having to ask for permission and people saying we're going to pick who does the maintenance, we're going to pick who does this. So if the numbers make sense and you're fine with it, then by all means go with HOA, because there are good things that come with HOA. So some of the good stuff that's supposed to come with HOA is some places are gated communities, they have security guards, they make sure people's landscaping and stuff looks good, they make sure people don't have trash out and all these different things. And what that does is help dries up the property value. That's what it's supposed to do. But like I said, to each their own. Me personally, the way how my real estate investment is set up, I don't like getting into properties that have HOA. That's just me personally. That doesn't mean that it can't work or it doesn't work. That's my style is.
Yeah, I don't like co-ops because the board, you have to go to the board in
Right.
order to get approved if you want to do something. No. I mean, if you're owner of it, I should have the right to decide what I want to do. I mean, I understand the
If I
certain
want to paint,
standards.
if I want to paint my building bright pink, then that's what I want to do. You know?
I agree.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Hey, H, I'd like to get your opinion on something.
You said what?
I'd like to get your opinion on something.
Sure.
So, I have been looking for a house to buy for myself, for me and my family to live in, but because the market is the way that it is, I haven't had any luck.
Right.
And now I'd like to have an investment property too. So I've seen investment properties that I'd like to purchase, but you know, I've been told that I need to find my house that I want to live in first before I buy an investment property. Do you think that I should still go that route, or just wait it out for a house that maybe I can live in with my family, but still buy the investment property now?
I had almost 20 properties before I owned my first home.
Oh, wow.
So I was living in one of my units that I own. I was living in one of, because some of the type of funding that I use, I had to owner occupy. So and then after I left from that, I stayed in another place, and I just built up my portfolio from there. So really, you just do what works for you. There is no right way. The way how I did it worked out great for me. I was able to live rent free for about 4 or 5 years, and I was saving that money, stacking that money up. So when I did found the home that I wanted, I had all the money set aside for it, and it was pretty much coming from my rental income and just stacking up and all these things. So some people say don't get into a fourplex first. They just say buy a home or buy a duplex. But the very first property I ever got was a fourplex. They say buy your personal home before you get an investment property. I had investment properties, a lot of them, before I got my own home. So it's like, I don't want to say don't listen to what people say. You just have to do what's best for you, really, at the end of the day. When you come at this like real estate game, it's how you want to approach it, how you want to go about it, because my style and how I do it, it's working great for me. I'm able to do a lot of different things based on the strategy and the route that I went. And if I could go back and do it all over again, the only thing I would have done differently is utilize these first-time home buyer programs, because I didn't know about them when I first got into real estate. So that's the only thing I would have changed differently. The same strategy that I did, getting a fourplex first, I still would have did that. Being, living in one unit, I still would have did that. I still would have did everything I did the exact same way, because it lined up everything else. And that's for me, not saying the other way wouldn't work for you, but personally, that's how I approached it.
So would it count against me then to have like if I bought the investment property first and had that rented out, would that count against me when I'm trying to get another house, say I want to live in, with my income, debt ratio, all of that?
So it's gonna affect your debt to income ratio, but the good thing about that is, depending on how many units you have, you'll be able to use those rents as proof of income as well. So it's not necessarily gonna hurt you or necessarily help you. It's gonna kind of even itself out just a little bit, but your rental income that you get from your rental properties is considered income. When you go to either refinance or go to get your next property or all these different things, you can use those rents as proof of income. So they look at everything. They look at how much you owe left on the loan. They look at, how much rents you're currently getting. They look at all that stuff.
Okay, thanks so much.
No problem.
I have a comment, or I need your advice on something. Piggyback off of what she said. So then, if I purchase a home for investment, then I can go to the program to get another home for myself. Like I can do it like that.
Yeah, so you're considered, by definition of the IRS and these different programs, year 3, day 1, you're considered a first-time home buyer again, and you qualify to use these programs.
My day 3, day 1, really?
No, year 3, day 1.
Oh, year dear. Okay. All right. Okay.
Year three, day 1, you're considered a first-time home buyer again in the eyes of the IRS and the eyes of all these first-time home buyer programs.
Okay. All right, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, I got a quick question.
Yep.
Have you ever borrowed money against your brokerage account, like in order to, like?
No, I haven't. We're actually just starting to do that right now. I'm sure you've seen Chris talk about it. So we're in the process of doing that right now. So probably I'll have done it. Give me about 2 months and I'll have all the information for you, you know, how the process went. I'll buy a property from leveraging my brokerage account, but give me about 2 months before it's all done, because I'm in the process of transferring money over, then I'm going to get the loan, and then the real estate market is crazy right now. But by about month, 2 months from now, so by July, August timeframe, I'll do it.
Okay, that's what I'm about to ask. Like, did y'all have to like transfer y'all
Yeah.
y'all portfolio to a different brokerage?
Right. The one that we're transferring over to isn't necessarily a ideal or conventional brokerage account, but they offer some of the best rates. So we're going to try them out. But most of the brokerage accounts their rates are just all different. So we're just trying to go with the best one that has the best rates. Right now.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Yo, Ace, question: if you use the conventional route to purchase your first home, can you use the first time home buyers FHA loan, say the following year, or do you have to wait that 3 years?
You still got to wait that 3 years. So even if you don't use any of those programs, like you just go, you know, the conventional route, all, you know, conventional or FHA or VA, you got to wait that 3 years and 1 day to be considered a first time home buyer.
Okay, cool.
Even if you don't use like those first time home buyer I know it's kind of weird, because I was going to try to do that, but it's I contacted one of the lenders for it, and they said that 3 years day one I can reapply.
Okay, cool. Right on.
Question.
Yep.
How do you do your CMAs?
What's that?
How do you do your
No.
CMA? Hello?
Yeah, you were kind of breaking in and out.
I said, how do you do your CMA?
Really, I just have my agents handle that for me, really. My agents know. So this, you know, I talk about this a lot in the classes. This is why it's good to, when you find your real estate agents and you find the lenders that you want to use, be as transparent with them as you can, right? You want them to know, you know, as much as they can about what your goals are and what you're trying to do with what's your real estate journey, right? Some of you might just be trying to get your home to live in. Some of you might be trying to look for investment properties. So what I do is, you know, it took me years to figure out what I needed, you know, what my prices were, what area I wanted to be in. And I relay that to my real estate agents, and they're constantly sending me deals that match that exact criteria. I tell them, I don't want anything less than this. I don't want anything more than this. These are the rents that I want to get at this price range. So I tell them, don't send me anything until you guys on this, because a lot of times agents will just attach you to their MLS. You just tell them, hey, I want a property that's this, and they're just going to send you anything. They're going to send you properties that are vacant. They're going to send you properties that might be halfway filled. They might send you properties that are filled. So you just have to take the time and figure out exactly what it is that you want, and then you tell your agents that, and they pretty much do all the CMA for me. And so for those of you that don't know what CMA is, it's comparative market analysis. So, you know, looking at the home value, you know, when it was recently sold, how the market is looking, all those different things.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hey Ace, there was some really bad feedback on that. What is a CMA?
What's that?
The question you just answered.
Is it breaking in and out? Can you guys hear me fine?
At first we couldn't. We didn't know when you were talking about CMA, we didn't get that last part.
Yeah, it sounded like it was cutting out. So CMA is comparative market analysis, right? It's pretty much like doing your research, right? Comparing to see what comparables were, you know, what rents are going for, all that different stuff. It's pretty much doing your research. You want to get as much data about, you know, the property, the tax information, you know, the previous sales, comparables in the area, all that different stuff, that's going to be kind of that's what CMA pretty much is. Can you guys hear me, or is it still breaking in and out?
Still hear you.
Okay.
Do you deal with mobile home rentals at all?
No, Ashley just got into one. I'm a tap in with her probably soon, and I'll probably tap into some eventually, but I don't see myself really getting into any this year. Because like I said, now I'm kind of focusing a little bit more on getting these homes for auction, just because of where the real estate market is at right now. I don't really like it. Not saying that you can't find deals. There still are good deals. You just got to really search a little bit harder for them, and you got to have a really good network of people kind of sending you those deals before they hit the MLS and things like that. But right now, my main focus for real estate is in the auction side. So tax deeds, I don't really care about tax liens too much, but I might start dabbling into a few of those. So right now, the rest of this year, my focus is just going to be on tax deeds for the most part.
Right on, cool. Yeah, that's the reason why I asked, because I follow Ashley and I saw that she had got into the whole mobile home game, and I was been thinking about it myself.
Yeah, so this is kind of what we do, you guys. For those of you guys listening, you guys see me, Ashley, and Chris, and other of his siblings, and some of my friends. We'll do one thing and we'll go figure it out while someone else is doing something else, and then we come together and put it all together. So Ashley's doing the mobile home, I'm doing the auction, Chris is doing the financing from leveraging the broker. So it's like we're all doing these different things, and then once we figure it out, we come together and we pass the game on. That's what we want you guys doing with your guys' family members, your guys' friends, your significant other, whatever. One person do one thing and stick with it, figure it out, and then pass the information on. That's how you guys build. That's how we keep building this little empire that we have, is because one person will go do one thing, another person is doing another thing, another person is doing this, and then we just put it all together. We pass off all the information that we get, and then it's a never-ending cycle. When you're constantly doing stuff, you get something up and running, and it's like boom, we get that up and running, pass the game on to somebody else, and then you pass the game on, and then you just keep going. That's what we do.
Hey, on your properties, what cap rate do you look for, or are you looking at?
It just depends. For for anything under 5 units, or anything under 4 units or less, I don't really worry about the cap rate too much. So that's something big you want to worry about. Like when you're dealing with commercial, which is 5 units or greater than. So I don't really focus too much on cap rate necessarily too much, and that's just because, like I said, I just run my numbers and I just kind of look at it like that. So, when dealing with commercial, on the commercial side, 5 units or more, that's when I would say you really need to kind of focus a little bit more on cap rate. So I don't really focus on it too much based on the style of investing that I do right now.
Oh, okay. So for like a single family home, there's no reason to really look at it.
Yeah, there's really no reason. Like I said, I like to do quadplexes, so which is 4 units. And I've yet to really have to focus too much on the cap rate. There's been some areas where the cap rate was pretty shitty, but the rents were good, the area was good, so I got into the property and it worked out for me just fine. So that's going to be good. That knowing your cap rate is good for an entry point, and then if you go to refinance and things like that, it's good to know it.
And then to ask about that, do you make the tenants pay for the electricity, water, garbage?
Yeah.
Or do you include that into
nope. It's pretty much like a separate. So not all of my buildings have their own meters. So some of you guys might come into these issues, and actually I'm glad you kind of brought this up, because this is kind of an important point. So some properties will all be off of 1 meter. And so for my units that share 1 meter, what I do is once the bill comes, I just divide it by 4, because a lot of times, like, the water is going to be at a set rate, and then if people go over that, then it's going to be charged. So that's what I do for the ones that share the meter. But if you can find those properties that have their individual meters, that way you don't have to worry about doing that. Because you can run into some issues, because some people might be like, oh, I don't use that much, but I just do that for water is the only thing that I've had to worry about being on one meter. As far as like electricity, gas, all that other stuff, it has its own individual. So I haven't had to worry about that. I've only had to worry about it for the water bill, but I have my tenants cover all the utilities.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yep. And that's something good to know when you guys are looking at properties. Ask if it's on a shared meter or if each unit has its individual meter. If you guys are looking at duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, that's something good to know, especially when it comes to like handling utilities and things like that. Because there was properties that I've bought where the owner was taking care of the utilities just because I guess they didn't want to take the time to split it up, or I don't know what the reasoning was. But yeah, not me.
Yeah, that makes your cash flow better. I would understand that. I heard something like that in one of the books I was listening to.
Yeah, it helps,
and then
helps increase your NOI, and then it also helps you if you go to refinance or if you go to sell. So definitely helps.
Yeah, I got a question, Chief.
Yep.
Is it possible to use one property as leverage to buy another property without having to use or run your credit every time you look to buy?
So you're talking about just using like your home as the leverage?
Yes, or even if you're using an existing rental property and you want to buy another property.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of something like that. I personally never done that, and I don't want to say you can or you can't because I don't know on that. So I would just have to look deeper into that. I don't know of just being able to just fully leverage your property without having to get any type of other lenders or anything involved. I think I've heard of something like that, but I'm not too sure, and I don't want to give you any wrong information.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yep.
I came on a call kind of late today. I just was wondering if you were still going to do the continuation for the first time home buyers program for California.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be the next class. So this one is just an open Q&A for whatever questions people have.
Also, were you going to also do the follow up with the the auctions information?
Yeah, I talked about the auction information in the beginning of the class.
Okay, cool. I'll go back and listen to it. Appreciate it.
Once we get it posted, you'll be able to go back and watch it.
Yeah. Also, I would actually been going back to listen to some of the previous classes, and I didn't see the one where you spoke on where you post the information regarding the lender up at some point, or
yeah, I believe that was the second or third class. It was just I just briefly touched on it. I didn't get it wasn't like a whole class that was just dedicated to lenders. It was kind of like a mix. It was a mix. I believe it was the second or third class.
yeah, it was the second one. The reason why I asked, because I went back the other day to listen to it, but I didn't see it on there. I just saw the first, and then it hopped straight to the third class. So
okay. I'll get with our people and make sure that it gets. I think what happened was it got listed, but for some reason, I don't know. It's on there. I'll make sure that it either gets reposted or I think the name got named wrong or something like that. But I'll double check.
no doubt. I'll go back though and double check again or whatever. But yeah, appreciate it.
No problem. All right, you guys got any other questions for me? Is anybody currently in the process of closing a deal right now or have an offer accepted on the deal?
I do. I'm actually scheduled to close on Tuesday.
Okay. You want to walk us through, the process? Did you do the deal before you got into Wealth Squad, or is it something that you've done since you've been in?
So I bought two properties before Wealth Squad. This is my first one during the Wealth Squad.
Okay.
I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona. This property is a single family home, and the owner split it into 3 units and is using it for Airbnb. And I have a little experience with that. I do some student room rentals.
Okay.
And so I have kind of some experience with like these like shorter term rentals. And so like my first house I bought was in California, and like these numbers are pulling in about the same, the one I'm closing on. And obviously Arizona's gonna be cheaper. So
right.
I just kind of jumped on that.
Do you live in the Arizona area or Phoenix?
Yeah, I moved out to Phoenix from California.
Oh, okay. So lending wise, did you take out a loan? Did you have the money for the down payment? You went conventional, FHA? What route did you go?
So the first house in California, I was able to do a cash out refi on since the market's been so hot. So I was able to get money back from that. And then I am going in on this house as a owner occupant. So I can take one of the rooms and then one of the units and then Airbnb the rest. So I'm coming in at 5% down conventional.
Okay.
My thought was really just to take advantage of these, lower interest rates right now.
Crazy.
And then lock in this debt, especially with inflation. I was really just trying to hurry up and get something before it kicked in.
And the thing is, it's like, so the surrounding areas. So first it was Idaho, right? So Idaho had a big boom. Everybody was moving down from Seattle to Idaho. Everybody was moving from California to Idaho because what they were doing was it started in about 2018, 19-ish. And because people were selling their homes because they had lived there for a while and they were able to pretty much retire, right? If you lived in Seattle or California, you owned your home. If you had it for at least 5+ years, what people were doing was they were selling, taking that cash, and then moving out to Idaho. And then Idaho boom. Now the housing market in Idaho is one of the best, one of the biggest growing housing markets. And then so now what people are doing from California is people are moving to Vegas from California. So now Vegas is starting to have this housing market boom like crazy. And what's going to happen next is good thing for you getting in on, out in Phoenix, because Phoenix is going to be next. Vegas is going to get too high to a point to where people want something more affordable. So people are going to end up going to Phoenix. So I see it, the market is definitely going to keep booming out there. So you're getting in at a really good time. And it sounds like you have a good game plan going in with this.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think Phoenix is growing. I think a lot of parts of the country have been booming, and Phoenix, is not like any other. So tons of California people coming in and people from the Midwest. So it's definitely helping drive prices up. So yeah, just trying to take advantage of that and try to. I don't know what you think of this. Like me and my girlfriend, we're trying to alternate, buying homes in each other's names and just kind of like alternating each year to try to, get in with these owner occupant loans. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or is that you might think might be
Man, you better marry that girl. She's down to do that with you. That's a keeper right there. If you guys do this and you guys stick with it, man, imagine where you guys could be in 10 years, right? Even if you guys just get, let's say, a duplex every other year that you guys alternate doing this, you guys keep getting a duplex. By year 10, you guys will be looking at like 20 to 25 doors. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the kind of stuff that, more people should be doing together, because, 10 years from now, once you guys have all these doors up and running, you're going to have so much leverage. You're going to have so much money coming in. That's like, at that point, you guys can really decide, hey, do we want to keep going in at this? Do we want to kind of hit the brakes a little bit and go a different route, kind of relax? So it's like, good thing you guys are starting it now. And I definitely recommend something like that, because that's how you guys are going to build wealth together. You guys are gonna, learn together, and it's cool because you're not going at it alone, right? You and her are in it together. So it's like, when you guys have those times where it gets really hard, or you guys run into a wall or run into a situation that you've never been in, even though you have real estate, I'm constantly running into issues I've never ran in. And it's like, I have to deal with it alone. I don't have anyone that's at this with me, but you and her can, like, those times where, she might be feeling down, you can pick her up, like, it's going to be good, we're going to make this work, or vice versa, times that you feel down. So it's like, I think that's dope. You guys are doing that. And I think you guys should go all in with it, man. I think it will really benefit you guys. You know, you probably don't see it right now, but 5-10 years from now, if you guys stick with it and keep doing it, you guys are going to have a really nice real estate portfolio.
Cool. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate your time.
No problem, man. One last question for you for the people. So did you use a lender that you've used before? Did you use a lender in Phoenix?
Both. So we also have a condo. When we first moved out here, we got like a small little condo that we're house hacking. And so we just went with the same lender. I heard you talking about getting multiple lenders, and honestly, I wanted to do that. But I felt since we already had that relationship and it worked well, I just kind of went with it.
Right. And that's perfectly fine too. It's like, what I would recommend to you guys do is if you guys felt good with this lender and you guys want to do this alternate, stick with that lender. You know what I mean? Like, stick with the people that know you, because it's just going to be easier. It's going to be, less and less that they're going to require from you every time you go with them. You're going to notice like, okay, they'll give us more. And, now I have lenders that don't ask for hardly anything because I've done so many deals with them and I build that rapport with them. Now, if I find a property and I need a quick 300,000 or 400,000, I can reach out to them without any questions. Like, hey, I got this property, I need the money. And they'll be like, when do you need us to send it over? Right. So stick with that lender. If you guys like them, everything worked out good. Sometimes, it's not all about the money, right? Sometimes it's about building those good relationships, because you just never know how much they'll be able to come through for you. Like, it's nice for me to know that if I find a property and I need, a few $100,000, I don't have to worry about going through all these hoops, having to get W-2s, having to show proof of this, having to do all that. They like, after, a certain amount of deals, it's like, let us know how much money you need and we got you. So good on you, man. Stick with it. And that's really good to hear.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Just to touch on that also, actually, this house that we're closing on is from the realtor that we use for the condo too. And she brought us this Airbnb deal off market. So that, just speaks to what you're talking about also. Right. So even before it went on market, she knew what we were trying to do and just came to me first, like, hey, I think you might be interested in this one. And just jumped on it.
Yep. So that's what happens, when you close on deals, agents know that, okay, this person closes on deals, so they're going to bring you those better deals. When you stick with a certain lender, they're like, okay, this person is closing deals. Let me keep giving this person money because, we've made money off of them. They're not late on any payments. Everything is looking good. So that's, when I talk about building your network in your circle, that's what you want to do. And it sounds like you guys have a strategic type of real estate investing that you do, right? Because you're going to do the rooms and stuff. Stick with that. Right. Stick with that. Don't try to fix something that's not broken, right? You guys figured out something that works for you guys. So keep doing that. So go all in, keep going near all the universities, right? Because kids that are in universities are going to need somewhere to stay. Most of the time, if they can stay outside of university, that means their parents have enough money for them to pay for it, or, they're working or whatever, going to school. But you guys have, there's so many different little things like niche. There's niches within real estate, whether if people want to do Airbnb, they want to do the VRBOs, if they want to do the beach rentals, or if they want to do the cottages, or you know what I mean, if you want to be near a big Amazon headquarters and they're constantly sending people in and out and people just need somewhere to stay for 6 months to a year. So it's like, if you can find a niche within this real estate, stick with it and let that grow. So if your guys' thing is to find these, duplexes, triplexes, or a single family home that has 4 or 5 rooms in it, you want to rent out each individual room to students, you guys will start building the system. And what's going to happen is that when these students leave, they're going to be like, oh, you guys can just take, they're going to have friends. They're going to have new friends that come in that need to stay somewhere. And they'll be like, hey, you guys can take over. I'll talk with my landlord and see if you guys can just take over my lease. So it's going to get to a point to where you're going to have these students and these other people finding the people for you. So you're not going to have to worry about high vacancy rate. You're not going to have to worry about advertising. They're going to do all the work for you. So keep it up, man. You guys got a lot in your future in store if you stick with it.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it again.
Yep.
Yo, Ace, quick question. So what about, in regards to the 2-year rule, you have to have 2 years of W-2s if you're first getting started. What if you have another job opportunity, you want to switch jobs, but it's before the 2 years? What happens?
That's fine. As long as you have that job and you can show the proof of income and things like that, you'll be fine. So as long as you have,
It's not necessarily like one job. It's just 2 years of work history total, basically. Okay, gotcha. Just
Yeah.
double check.
That's and that whole 2-year thing is they have a lot of stuff can be waived. A lot of stuff they just say that they just want to look. So a lot of things can be waived. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's locked in stone. Some lenders will work with you based on, like I said, everything is unique. Everybody's situation isn't the same, but as long as you can prove, okay, I've had income coming in for this. If you have ways to prove it and show for it, you'll be fine.
Okay, so you don't necessarily have to be a W-2 worker then. You can have a 1099.
Oh yeah, you can have a 1099. Yeah.
Okay, bet.
1099 1099/W2, pretty much the same thing.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. All right, you guys got any other last minute questions before we wrap this up?
I got a quick question, and forgive me if y'all asked. I was tapping in and out. I had to do something, but I had y'all going in the background of my headphone set. Now I know we all kind of, and I heard it before, talking about the climate of the marketplace as far as being just, man, people just overbidding and it's not enough like supply.
It's crazy.
So, what other suggestions do you have? Like I've thought about, the route you're going, auctions, maybe tax liens, taking money out of 401k. Well, what kind of do you suggest right now? Like some strategies you would take, trying to knock that first home, get that first home signed. You know what I mean?
I hear it, and it's such a interesting time that we're in right now with this real estate market stuff. But the thing is, don't know your numbers, right? This is one of the things I always tell people: know your numbers. Have a backup plan to your numbers. And when I always say know your numbers, I mean know how much everything is going to cost you, because you can figure out how much everything is going to cost you before you sign anything, before you put in any offers, because you can contact insurance companies, you can contact lenders. You can figure out what taxes are. That's public information. You can figure out what utilities already are. You can get all this information, so you can run your numbers and make sure it makes sense. Once you run your numbers, then you'll have you should already know how much home you can afford, right? That's step number one, because it doesn't make no sense to be looking for $500,000 properties when you can only afford 300,000. Not saying you, I'm just saying as an example, right? So first thing is knowing how much you definitely all in, right? So let's say all in 300 is your price range, right? Like no matter what, 300K is the highest you can go. So what I would recommend is start looking in that 200 price range, right? Go 100,000 down, because people are overbidding 20,000, 40,000, 50. I've seen people overbid 100,000 on some of these properties. So don't be just be patient, right? So know what you can afford, know your numbers, and be patient. So once you know what you can afford, and then you start running numbers, then you start putting in your you start putting in your bids, you start putting in, and if nothing gets accepted, don't let it discourage you, right? Keep putting in bids, and it's like, if this is going to be your home, and you want to be in the area you want to be in, you got to be a little bit more patient. But if you're looking to get like a rental that you're looking to get, then you have a little more flexibility. Then I would recommend, all right, look in the next city over, or look in the next state over, or look, down south, Midwest, start looking everywhere. So it's going to be based on if this is going to be a home that you want to turn into your forever home, if this is just a home that you want to get into just so you can get some property and then eventually rent it out, or if you want to just get rental properties right away. So you got to figure those things out. So it's like a lot of things that you got to figure out, and then just be patient, and then every day. So, there was a guy on here that I've been in contact with on a regular, and he said that he wanted to get into, he was serious about it. He sent me his whole game plan and this and that. And then I asked him, when's the last time you've been looking at rental properties? He says, been a couple of days. Well, you need to be looking every single day, because every day there's going to be new deals coming and going. So if you really want to be serious about this, you got to look every day. You don't have to spend a lot of time, but once you know your numbers, and you know what you want. You can look at 100 properties in one day in less than probably an hour. It's not going to take you a long time to look at these properties. Once you know your numbers and you know, I want this square foot, this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms, I want to be in this area, in this price range, that's going to help you save so much time, looking at all that other BS that's not even in either in your price range that you want to be in, not in the area you want to be in, not all this other stuff. So it's like, get your numbers, know your bottom line, know what you can afford. That's going to help you with your process, and then start reaching out to agents. Tell them, hey, I need a property that's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, under 300,000, this many square feet, and start putting them to work for you too. So they're going to be sending you deals all the time, and then you're also going to be looking at deals. So it's like, reach out to 3 agents, give 3 agents your numbers, and then you're gonna have 3 agents working for you. Because what people don't realize is your real estate agent doesn't make money until you get a house. So it's like they're pretty much working for you to help you get a house. So it's like, give them the info. You got the info, so they're looking for you, and then you're also looking for you. So that'll help you out.
Right. No, definitely. I appreciate that. And question, with the route that you're going and what you're saying, would you suggest putting in, like, looking every day, it's maybe 5 new houses out? Guess when the price range. So, can I just put in an offer immediately? And if they accept the offer, hey, I'll check it out. Then is that probably the best way to go right now? Just put in the offers on the house that you like.
Just get an offer and make sure it's a house that you like. Make sure your number is good. And then, like I said, once you know all that, once you cross that property that you like, you can submit it, because you already did the upfront work of knowing what your numbers are and what you can and can't afford. So, right, you don't want to find a property and then figure out what you can afford. You want to know what you can afford before you start looking. So that way, when you find that exact one that, boom, it checks off this, and this, boom, put it in an offer right away. And then once they accept your offer, you go do your walkthrough, you get it inspected. If you do your walkthrough, you get it inspected, it doesn't fit exactly what you want, you pull out. It's no harm, no foul. You get your earnest money back. The only money you'll be out of is probably, your inspection, which would be $200, $300, $400. But I'd rather come out of $200, $300, $400 5 to 10 different times until I found that property that I knew was gonna match everything that I needed. And I've done that many times. I've looked at a lot of houses where I've lost the money for the inspection, but it's helped me in the long run. You gotta look at it, you gotta look 5, 10 years into the future.
Right. No, definitely. 100%, man. Thank you.
No problem. Good question.
Man, appreciate that, Ace. Back off of what she said. I actually been doing exactly what you said. My situation is a little unique because I'm in a different state right now, moving to a particular state. So I've been doing that or whatever. And that was about to be my actual next step, was to start reaching out to realtors to kind of start seeing how I would go about putting in offers and stuff like that. Cause I'm literally about to move. I'm in New Mexico right now, and I'm moving back to California. Near the Palm Desert, Palm Springs area. So I literally been.
I'm gonna have to come check you out if you're in that Palm Springs area. I'm gonna pop in on you. I got a homeboy that stays out there. I go visit all the time.
No doubt, you definitely welcome. And like I said, I appreciate you, because that's actually taking those steps.
Going on, man. Make sure you definitely gotta take advantage. I haven't forgot. I listen and pay attention to everything you guys tell me. You got a really unique, good situation on your hands. So, and the market is pretty good out there. I've been helping my homeboy look at houses out there, and the good thing about Palm Springs is it's kind of out the way a little bit. It's like low key, a lot of older folks out there that are kind of retired. So and the housing market out there is actually more affordable than I actually thought it would be. I was actually surprised when I started diving in. So
definitely, you and I both.
Yeah,
you and I both. That's why I asked you the question as far as the whole contingent, pending, and all that situation, because I've literally been on here like every day for like the last, pretty much since our last session, our last class, man. I've been on here like every day looking for properties, man, and just kind of putting together my budget, my price range, and all that. So yeah, I appreciate it, man. Definitely. Once I get locked in, I'll tap in with you and let you know.
Cool, man. Keep me posted on it for sure. All right, you guys, any last questions for me?
So let me make sure I heard this right. If you put your earnest money down, you back out of the deal, you can get the earnest money back?
Yep. Every deal, there was one deal that I've done that I didn't get my full earnest money back. And that's because we did the inspection, because there's multiple phases. So it's like you put in the offer and then it gets accepted, and then you get due diligence to go get the home inspected. It's usually like 3 to 5 days that you get. I forget the exact amount. It's like 3 to 5 days that you get to get it inspected, do your walkthroughs and all that stuff. So I put in the offer, it got accepted. We did the walkthrough. I found some issues that were wrong, and then I asked them to either uh, fix the issues or come down on the price. So they decided to come down on the price, and something else happened that I think I was just not ready to do that deal. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I backed out of the deal. I put $1,000 down for my earnest money, and I ended up getting like 925 back. I forget the reasoning as to why I didn't get the full amount back. But then, so there was another deal that I did. We did a walkthrough. It was horrible. I didn't want to do any counter. I just backed out of the deal. I backed out, got my full earnest money back. Another deal I did something very similar, got my money back. There was another one I did where we got almost all the way to the end, and I had another deal that came up that the cash flow was crazy. So I backed out of that deal and I got my full earnest money back. So honestly, that one time that I didn't get my full earnest money back, I forget, it was so long ago, I can't even remember. And it was only like 75 bucks I didn't get. So I really wasn't too concerned. But I forget what the verbiage is as to what can get you your money back, your earnest money back, or what can't. Because the earnest money is just kind of like letting them know that you're serious, so they can't, accept any other offers or entertain any other deals. But that earnest money necessarily isn't theirs. It doesn't go to them. So that one time I didn't get it. I can't remember exactly why, but there's been so many times where I've gone through the process and got my earnest money back. No issues.
All right, thanks.
Yep. For those of you guys who don't know what earnest money is, it's something that you'll need to put down. It kind of goes to like a middleman. So for the most part, it's going to be about 1,000 to 3,000, but it's going to go towards it's your money that goes towards your loan and things like that. So the earnest money is just held in escrow, which is pretty much the title company, a middleman, and you put that money down just to show the seller that you're serious. So like I said, it's usually about 1,000 to 3,000. The most I've ever seen or done was 5,000, but that was just a one-time deal. For the most part, it's always been 1,000 that I've had to put up for the earnest money. And yeah, like I said, there's been, the deals that I've backed out of, I've gotten my full earnest money back. There was one time I didn't get it back. It was like $75 out of 1,000 I didn't get back. I can't remember the exact reason as to why. But that's other money that you guys will need up front, but just know it goes towards your loan. It doesn't just disappear or go towards, just nothing, just so you guys know and are aware.
Hey, Ace, quick question. So I heard somebody earlier ask, or not ask, they said that they were going to get a property, and basically they have a property right now, but they're going to owner occupy the other property. What does that mean?
So that means like, let's say you get a duplex and you live in one side and you rent out the other side. That's considered owner occupy.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it was just the vocabulary for it. Never mind.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Owner occupy just means you live, whether in the master bedroom, guest bedroom, if you have a duplex, you live in one side. If you have a triplex, you live in one unit, rent out the other two, or if you have a quadplex, you live in one unit and rent out the other three. So owner occupy, and that's one of the requirements. If you use VA or if you use FHA, you have to owner occupy for at least 1 year.
Have you wholesaled real estate before?
No, I have not.
Is it just because is there a reason why you haven't, or you just haven't gone down?
I just never really wanted to get into it. Like I said, I found my niche with this turnkey property. It worked out the first time I did it, and I just kept going after turnkey properties. Once I figured out my numbers and I knew what I can make work. Like I said, once you once you tap into this real estate world and you start doing, you know, multiple deals and you really start figuring out your numbers and, you know, what you can and can't do. And it's like the one person we have on here, he's going to do the, to college, you know, students. There's people that rent to just college students, or maybe, you know, they're next to a big, what are they called, the fire watch, right? They'll send people out to like Oregon and California or these different places where they have fires, and most of the times they'll be out there for 3 months to 6 months. And a lot of these people they get funding to find homes. So a lot of people will rent to specifically just these people, or whether it be Airbnb, or whether it be, you know, wholesaling or Burr, or you know, fix and flip, or, you know, fix and hold, whatever it may be. Real estate has a niche. So I found my niche, I found what worked, and I just kind of stuck with it. So it took me all these years to finally tap into another side of real estate, which is buying from auctions, which we've talked about. So I just found what worked for me and I stuck with it.
Gotcha. Thank you, man.
Yep. All right, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Any last questions? Going once, going twice? Any questions? All right, cool. So a lot of good questions in this class. I'm kind of glad I did this Q&A. And as you guys heard, we have multiple people in the Wealth Squad doing deals. You know, they've done some prior to Wealth Squad. Some people doing deals just off the information alone in here. I know there's multiple people, some that either were on and got off, but I know of 5 people right now that are doing deals that are within the Wealth Squad. So you guys got to get out there. Like I said, the housing market is crazy right now. You know, it's crazy. Don't let the crazy housing market throw you off your game plan, right? We got to go out this having a game plan, know your numbers, something I always talk about and something I will continue to talk about. I don't care if the market keeps going hot. I don't care if the market tanks. If you know your numbers, you know, the numbers really is the key to this stuff, and you got to really figure it out. You know, I know if I have, let's say if I get a fourplex, if only 3 of the units are rented out, if only 2 of the units are rented out, if for whatever reason only 1 of the units gets rented out, you need to take all this stuff. There's so many things you need to take into consideration. There's some things that you just won't have any control over. And, you know, if it's bad stuff like that, you know, you just hope, you know, you got good enough insurance that's going to cover all that stuff. But you need to know, you know, for your vacancy rates and, you know, what it's going to cost to get certain things are going to come up. For instance, I just had to spend $1,000 to get some damn trees removed. I had to get 1 tree removed and 2 trees trimmed at one of my properties. $1,000 just gone, right? That's part of real estate. That's kind of how it goes. So you got to have, you know, money set aside, right? It's not all just money coming in. There's been properties that I've got where I didn't start really cash flowing until about 2 years down the road. So it's like, you know, you got to take that into consideration. Like I said, you got to think 2, 3, 4, 5 years out, right? It's not going to be great right away, but you know, if you take the time, figure out your numbers, run your numbers, and you know, see where everything is going, this real estate world can be a really good game changer for a lot of people, especially when you add in, you know, depreciation and all the things that you can claim for taxes. You really start tapping into a lot, and then, you know, you start getting equity. You know, you get the equity by the value of your home going up. You get equity by paying down your mortgage. You know, you got your renters paying down your mortgage, all that good stuff. So there's so many good things that you can do to leverage real estate, right? Just like there's so many good things, there are a lot of bad things that can happen in real estate. So take your time. Don't rush. Don't let this crazy market scare you. And don't let it force you into getting into a property, because you don't want to get into something that's going to be that you'll be in over your head, right? So you want to approach this the right way. Take your time, you know, keep doing your research. So, you know, if you can't find a property right now to get into, what are you doing to keep bettering yourself? Are you still, you know, stacking your money up? Are you learning more about real estate, right? I told you guys, I didn't know about the first time home buyer program when I first got into real estate, and that could have really helped me out a lot, right? That would have been a game changer for me to know all the information, but it didn't. It took me, years later to figure out, oh, damn, there's these programs that will help people get into real estate. So it's like little things like that. Are you, keep getting your knowledge up, learn different methods. Even though I don't do all these different methods, I know a lot about BRRRR. I know a lot about wholesaling. I know a lot about fixing and flipping. I know how to get a hold of contractors if I need to, right? Because I'm just constantly learning. I'm not just sticking with what I do and what I know. I'm, constantly growing, reaching out to different agents. If they have different real estate groups, I might pop up. If any of you guys watched me and Chris, the YouTube channel that we did, we were talking about how I was going to Home Depot because Home Depot gives these free classes on how to do certain rehab stuff, right? How to lay tile, how to lay carpet, how to do the backsplash on the wall, how to do cabinets, how to fix little leaks and stuff like that. I was going to these classes just for the hell of it, just to learn, right? Just to keep learning and keep growing. So if you guys aren't getting into deals, don't let that discourage you and don't let it stop you. Keep learning, keep getting as much information as you can, right? Once you figure out, okay, I can do this. Once you learn everything about this program, go figure out another program. Go learn about this. Go learn how to get creative. Learn how to leverage your credit to get into real estate. Learn how to, reach out to hard money lenders and all these different things, right? Don't just sit and wait for these Wealth Squad classes. You guys got to, take some type of action. Even if you just take 20 minutes out of your day just to kind of do a quick little research or, learn a little bit more about this or learn a little bit more about that. It's going to be better than just not doing anything and waiting for these classes once a week, right? We talk about real estate within the Wealth Squad, but we only hold these real estate classes once a week. So it's like, what are you doing the other 6 days? So I can tell the people that are, you guys heard, one of the people in here, since last class, he's been looking at houses every day. So that's the type of stuff that's going to separate you from everyone else. That's the type of stuff where you're going to see the good deals that match your needs. If if you're just looking once a week or every few days, you could have missed something yesterday. So stay on top of it. Keep learning, keep growing. Don't be discouraged. Get your numbers, keep asking questions, keep attending these classes, keep doing all this stuff, network, take notes. I don't know if you guys can see when the person who talks, but I can. I think you guys can too. Take notes of who talks and says what they're doing and reach out to them like, hey, I heard you're in this deal. I heard you just closed this or doing this. I'm in the Wealth Squad too. Is there any pointers you can give me? Any tips, right? Don't be afraid to network within the Wealth Squad. A lot of the people in here, sometimes some people have no experience. Some people got 10 plus years of experience and, we're all in here to grow together. We're all in here to learn together. And I doubt if you reach out to someone, if you come at them the right way, I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to help you. That's why we're all in here together, right? We're all in here learning and growing together. So utilize Wealth Squad as much as you can. Milk the Wealth Squad. Besides just the classes, reach out to people, network. We got lenders, we got real estate agents, we got lawyers, we got, all these different things. We got contractors, we got people who are doing BRRRR, people who are doing wholesale, all these different things. So keep leveling up, keep growing. And like I said, it's Friday. I appreciate all you guys taking your time out of your day to attend these classes. Like always, that will never change. I appreciate all the interaction. I appreciate the good questions. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate you guys reaching out, sharing your stories to me, your successes. Even if I'm not able to get back to you guys right away, I promise you I'm not trying to respond to you. Just sometimes messages get crazy. I get a lot, not tooting my own horn or nothing like that. It's just a lot of information. So keep sending me you guys' stuff. Like I said, I really enjoy hearing your guys' wins. I like hearing your guys' stories. A lot of you guys have good, interesting stories, and a lot of you guys are trying to, start building that generational wealth. A lot of people in here don't come from that background where they had people teaching them this type of stuff. And I'm one of them, right? I didn't start learning about real estate until my mid 20s. So early 20s at that. So yeah, so I'm not young. A lot of people think I'm younger than what I am, but I'm probably one of the oldest people in this group right now. But anyways, keep learning, keep growing. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I hope you guys gain a lot of good information from this. And that's all I got for y'all.
Appreciate you, Ace.
Yep.
Thanks, Ace.
No problem.
Thank you, Ace. Have a good night, man.
Oh, you too, Chris.